On October 13th, it was announced that in Orange County, the Coastal Commission approved of a desalination plant. It will convert seawater into drinking water. When Grandma Prisby would give tours around the bottle village, she would always offer her tourists freshly made lemonade. Now joining me today is the Hall of Famer, the man himself, Mr. Jaime Harin. And our second guest is his son, his former colleague too, Mr. Jorge Harin.
How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Renegade Craft Store is not just for vendors to sell their product or artists to show their artistic skills. It's also a good time for family and friends to hang out. For Valley View News, I'm David Reyes. In 2020, Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order banning the sales of new gas-powered vehicles after 2035. In August of this year, the California Air Resources Board voted in favor of the order. Is now taking aggressive steps towards increasing electric vehicle sales. Carlos Alves says it's essential that people diminish their carbon footprints.
Electric cars are much cheaper to run. They use a lot less energy to run, and they're much less dependent on fossil fuels, obviously. The way the grid is right now, it's somewhat dirty, but we can clean up the grid over the course of the next few years.
Auto mechanics teacher Russell Martin has been in the automotive industry for more than 40 years. He says the battery in a Tesla can cost up to $20,000 to replace, while replacing a car engine is much cheaper.
When it comes to the customer buying a new battery, that's a lot of money. That's 1,000 pounds of batteries.
Martin is also concerned about how electric car batteries will be recycled.
As a community, we have cars that now their battery has to be recycled. What do we do with that?
Also announced earlier this year, the state will ban the sales of gas-powered lawn equipment such as lawnmowers and leaf blowers, but that will be starting in 2024. For Valley View News, I'm David Reyes. The entire state of California is officially in a declared severe water drought due to years of very little rainfall and snowpack. Farm advisor Ben Faber says California's drought isn't a new problem.
And, water has always been an issue. It's a Mediterranean climate that's limited by the rainfall that occurs in the wintertime.
Daniel Drugan, manager of resources at Callegua's Municipal Water District, says the state depends too much on rainfall and Sierra snowpack for water.
Right now, we just ended the third year of below average snowpack, and we're expecting that next year it's looking like it's going to be a fourth consecutive dry year for us here.
As conservation increases, the price of water increases as well.
It's about $1,700 an acre foot. With the current drought restrictions that we have in place right now, it could escalate up to $3,700 an acre foot.
On October 13th, it was announced that in Orange County, the Coastal Commission approved of a desalination plant. It will convert seawater into drinking water. For Valley View News, I'm David Reyes. Heading westbound on the 118 freeway towards Simi Valley, on a hillside, is a landmark from 1998. It's the Happy Face Hill. Kurt Solomon is impressed by the Happy Face.
Kind of unique. I've never seen one before that's carved out of the natural shrubbery or out of the grass. They mowed a circle.
This unique site was made by retired gardener Sonny Clemmerus.
Because of me, if you look up Happy Face Hill, you're going to get a picture of that. So that hill is Happy Face Hill because of me. And I think that's cool.
Sonny did it by himself using his own equipment.
Like I said, the Roundup, sprayed that. That's in the spring. And then later on in the year, I would use the string trimmer to knock down the dead foliage.
Clemmerus has a message for Simi Valley residents.
Smile, and smile with vertical eyes and a real smile, ear to ear. I did it for you.
Right now, the Simi Valley Rotary Club is who maintains Happy Face Hill. They've been maintaining it for around 10 years, ever since Sonny couldn't do it himself anymore. In Simi Valley, for Valley View News, I'm David Reyes. The city of Oxnard started Hispanic Heritage Month by having its annual parade and festival on Mexico's Independence Day. An event that had music playing on the streets, and music being played on the second floors. Police officer Manuel Perez has patrolled the parade for 15 years. He says it's a great time for the community and families.
As you can see, everyone's patriotic, celebrating Mexican Independence Day. A lot of people with their Mexican flags, the horses, a little bit of Mexico that was brought here to the city of Oxnard.
Vendors sold clothing and artwork, among many other things. Victor Molina expects around 1,000 people to stop by his stand. This is the first time I come here, and this was one of my goals to attend this event for Mexico's Independence Day. People were on horseback, and others drove old hot rods. When the parade ended, the music and celebration just kept going.
Mexico's independence on September 16th. They got their independence from Spain back in 1821. But the celebration begins on the 15th with the Cry of Dolores. Reporting from the city of Oxnard, I'm Reyes for Valley View News. Now joining me today is the Hall of Famer, the man himself, Mr. Jaime Jarrin. And our second guest is his son, his former colleague too, Mr. Jorge Jarrin.
How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. Taking advantage of this day when the Dodgers are not playing.
What was it like growing up? I mean, listening to your dad call Dodger games when you were younger.
Wow. There was never a time in my life when I did not understand or know that my father and my family were connected to the Dodgers.
Okay, I think this is a perfect time to play the second clip from A. Martinez, or Jorge Luis Martinez, as you know him.
I listened to him before I listened to Vin Scully. Before I even knew who Vin Scully was, I listened to Jaime Jarrin because he's doing games in Spanish on the radio. My grandpa and my uncles would always say, that's an Ecuadorian. Es un paisano haciendo los juegos. So it was neat to know that he was from the same country that my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and my mom was from. And he's doing baseball games.
To conclude the show, can you give us your signature call? Let's just pretend it's Game 7 of the World Series, tie game, bottom of the ninth. Dodgers are batting.
Okay. Then hay una hora, amigos. Ya estoy viendo las casitas en mi pueblo. Se acerca a su fin esta jornada. Listo el pitcher, tiene las señas, viene el lanzamiento, batazo profundo al jardín central. La pelota se va y despídala con un beso. Se fue de cuadrangular.
Wow,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the famous call.
And that famous call has now been enshrined in places like the Smithsonian Institute. There is currently an exhibit that has been extended called Play Ball in Washington, D.C. And my father and some of his memorabilia are a big part of that exhibit. And so it's something that has been recognized on a national basis. And of course, in 1998, my father was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Mm-hmm. So it's been an impressive career, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. That was Jaime Jarrin, the Hall of Famer. This is his last and final season after 64 years. I would also like to thank his son Jorge for joining us. It's been an honor and pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you so much.
David, thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching On Point. We'll be right back with more.